This video is meant to accompany Roscommon Equipment Center's News Note number 22, Simple Electronic Sandtable. And what I've done here so far is I've just opened Microsoft PowerPoint to a blank presentation, like you're going to go to build a presentation. We want a blank slide, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these text boxes, and we just click on them and delete them. The next thing that we need to do is we need to insert our governing map of the area that we want to look at. So if we go to Insert Picture, and I've already got a small folder made up with some satellite imagery in a subfolder, and I've got equipment and flames, pictures of aerial equipment and things all through here. So I'm going to go to Satellite Imagery and pick a satellite image that I want to display on this and insert it into the presentation or on the slide. The very first thing that we want to do is we want to stretch that picture out and encompass the entire slide so we can't see the white background behind it. This will be our starting point. So all it is a picture on top of a slide. The next things that we need to do is we need to start putting some resources in here. So we're going to go to Insert Picture, and we're going to navigate over to some mobile equipment. And well, actually, let's go and let's put in some aerial equipment. Let's put in this water bomber. So that comes in as a big photo with a background. One thing that a lot of folks might not know about PowerPoint is that underneath this Format tab, there's a selection over here for Remove Background. If we click on that, Microsoft PowerPoint says, okay, everything in pink is what I think you want to cut away, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to try to do. Maybe we don't want all of that, or we want to keep the text Air 5 in there. So what I'm going to do is come over to Mark Areas to Keep, and then my cursor changes to a pen when I get over on it. So if I just simply make a line through, now it's going to keep all of that Air 5, but I don't really want this background in here, so I'm going to go to Mark Areas to Remove, draw a line through that, and maybe I don't want to show the water coming out of the bottom of the plane. Take that away. So that looks pretty good, and I'm going to go and I'm going to say Keep Changes. So now I've got a photo of that plane with a scalable tag that goes with it, and I can move that anywhere I want to on the map at any time. I can copy it and paste it, so I could put a whole bunch of these things on there if I wanted to. So one I want on the map, and maybe one I want to set over here on the side, because if you can build a little library of resources, pictures of people carrying drip torches, etc. down the side, then you can use them at any time, and you can rename the presentation to share with someone else, and all they have to do is replace the background satellite image with what they want to display, and they've already done all this work. They've already got all these resources over here that are cleaned up from the backgrounds. So some things that you can do with this, maybe the plane is going in the wrong direction right now, and we want to show it going the other way. If we simply come over here and grab that little white square, we can flip it so it shows the other way. Unfortunately, it does mirror the Air 5 text as well, but that can be edited later if you really needed to do that. So for right now, we're just going to leave that alone. We can rotate this to denote orientation of which way the aircraft is flying. We can scale it so that it's appropriate for the map that you're on. We can also go to View and Zoom, and maybe we go to 200%. So we can zoom right in and make things scale appropriate. If you wanted to add some more resources to it, grab these scroll bars, move over to the side, move up to where they are. You can grab them, move them in, and at any time you can always see what's going on in the entire map over here. So that's a pretty good tool for us. I'm going to go ahead and zoom, and we'll go back out to fit. So now I've got some resources in there that have been cleaned up from their backgrounds. I've got some library stuff in here, and that's a good deal. The next thing that I wanted to show is under the home screen. Maybe we want to put a fire in here and have a smoke column coming out of it. So if we go up here to these auto shapes, and I'm just going to choose oval for simplicity, and I'm going to click and drag and make an oval. Now it's blue with a blue border. We don't necessarily want that. We want that to represent fire that looks realistic. So what you can do is you can go up to Shape Fill, and instead of choosing one of these colors that are stock, you can actually fill this with a picture that you've downloaded from the internet. So when I say File, Insert Picture, and go back to my electronic Sandtable, I'll come over here to flames that I've downloaded, just JPEGs from the internet, and that looks okay. So I'll choose that one and say Insert. So now it fills it with that picture, but we still have the border on the outside. We want to remove that. So if we go to Shape Outline and say No Outline, you can see that border removes. Now here is where we start getting a little bit even more realistic, is if we go to Shape Effects and go down to Soften the Edges. You can soften by degree, and watch what happens on the screen as I kind of gently go down through these. So the edges become kind of transparent. So to me that looks pretty good at a 25-point reduction. We can also make this flame a little bit more realistic yet if we come over and we right click on it and we go to Edit Points. Now these black dots come up. So I can show maybe how that fire is moving a little bit, it's growing, and then I click off of it. Now I can go grab it and twist it around and move it wherever I want. Maybe it started in that little island in that oil field or something. We'll put it there for now. Alright, so that's how we would put in a fire that started here and starts moving towards this tree line. But we did forget one thing: we need to add some smoke to the fire. So again, we're going to come up to Oval. Just make an oval anywhere you want on the screen. Go to Shape Fill, Picture, and we're going to navigate over to a smoke folder that I have, and we're just going to call it that kind of smoke. Maybe that looks appropriate for the fuel type that the fire is burning in. And go to Shape Outline, No Outline, and then we're going to go and we're going to soften the edges of that as well. And we'll make that 25-point again too. So now just having a ball of smoke doesn't really represent the true nature of what that smoke would do. It would look, more like a teardrop shape. So again on this, we're going to right click and go to Edit Points. We're going to grab any one of these handles and kind of make what we believe that smoke column should look like. Click over here in the gray so that we can go back in and select it and move it. So maybe that looks more appropriate for that smoke, for that fire. At any time you can come in, you can add text anywhere you want if you choose this icon, and give yourself a text box, and you can say 2200 hours. Maybe the RH is at a certain value. You can type that in. And the shape fill, let's make it a white so we can see it, and then click off in the gray. And then any of that text, you don't have to put a white background in. It could just be transparent over top of whatever feature you wanted. But the big thing with this is the ability to trim photos. All this is superimposing one photo over top of another, and then be able to move them around, manipulate them, and just use your imagination. This is a simple but very powerful tool that can allow lots of people to be able to save after action reviews on fire. It can almost replace a classic Sandtable with the mess, and transport difficulties of the crushed walnut shells, all that kind of thing. And there's almost no cost with it. Most computers nowadays have Microsoft PowerPoint. So you don't really have to go out and buy a large, expensive digital system that shows a whole bunch of cool stuff. But the problem with that is that maybe not many people in your staff or in the field has the knowledge and expertise to be able to run something like that. But you can with PowerPoint, and you can recreate nice things and horrible events, but you can save them now, and that's one thing that you could never do with a classic Sandtable. You had pieces of yarn that represented streams, things of that nature. But now you can save this and you can email it, and you can share it with your entire staff. Once all the photo editing is done, really that's all the work that's involved with it. So thanks for listening.